apparently, I didn't formally introduce myself last time.
That's exactly right.
Is it too late to get started on that?
I think we can fix that, isn't it? How would you introduce yourself, John?
Oh God, it's always fun to know where to start or how to introduce. But I suppose I started off as an insurance broker here in Perth, but I don't usually start with that because that's usually the part that sends people to sleep. So I always find it's interesting when I go to introduce myself to someone at a barbecue. So if it's someone that I want to actually talk to, then I'll start talking about camels and camel trekking and camel handball. And if I'm not really in a conversational mood, I just say I'm an insurance broker, and that generally kills the conversation right there and then.
Everybody runs.
Done. But I've got an insurance broking company here in Perth that I started back in 2008. But I suppose where got a little bit more notoriety was in 2018, where I took a bit of a hiatus for 5 years and took a team of camels around Australia. It's the longest camel trek in Australian history. It's about 12,500 kilometres all up. And I've returned now. Came back in 2022 when that wrapped up, and back at the helm of Elliott Insurance again.
And you came in one piece?
Yeah, well, sort of. Last couple of years, I lost a tooth, I lost an eye, but
But that was after your
most
trip.
parts. Yeah, I know. Insurance broking is tough.
Oh, yeah, that's not easy. It's not easy.
I had no background in camels at all, and people are like, "Oh, how did you deal with handling a wild pack of animals that you had no idea how to control?" And I was like, "Well, no, I left insurance and I went and did camels."
And from then, it got easier.
Yeah. It's legal to actually tie the camels up. So
Put them in a paddock with electric fence.
yeah, it's not so much with the insurance game. They frown upon it.
But today, conversation, it's a little bit about the adventure of starting the business, or the adventure of being employed to be self-employed. Can you tell us a little bit more about how did you start your career, when you kind of your first job? Do you remember your first job or first few jobs?
Yeah, first job was straight out of school within, I think it was less than a week after finishing school.
Was it a high school or
Yeah,
university?
straight out of high school. So,
Straight out of high school.
yeah, I didn't do too well in high school. I flunked the English exam so bad that I would have had to sit an English equivalency test to prove that I spoke the language well enough if I wanted to go to university. So I'd kind of switched off in the last few years of school and was ready to kind of get out there. So evident by within a week of leaving school, I was straight into a job. And I got a job. My first job was a government job, Department of Immigration. Now, I got fired from that job because I was fudging the timesheets, not in the way that you would think. We had flexi hours, so I would just stay until the job's done. They would fill out the timesheet, and I got told off for doing too many hours. So I kept doing the hours, and I just put on the timesheet that I was going 8:30 to 5, and then I got fired for lying on my timesheets.
Yeah.
So they didn't like the fact that people would just stay until the job's done. We'll just employ more people. Very government mentality. So I knew government career wasn't for me, and
How long did it last? How long did it last?
about 6 months, 7 months, or something like that.
And you're not the first one to been told that sort of thing.
No.
I know people who were literally 7 hours 21 minutes used to be. So
Yeah, something like this.
it was 7 hours 21 minutes that you were supposed to work.
And you have to, like a certain amount of hours, you have to take a break. It's not,
Yes.
do you need a break? You have to.
If you don't take the break, then you are in trouble.
Correct.
And if you're working too hard, you are in trouble
Yeah.
because you're making everybody look bad.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's very hardworking people within the government. It's just that the commentary is more on the system as opposed to the people in it. And I think the people in it aren't the ones setting the rules of the game. But
So the environment you were in didn't really work for you because you
No.
wanted to get the job done.
no.
How long did it last?
Like I said, less than a year.
Less than a year.
And then it was preferable for me after that to just knock on doors and start selling things. And as soon as I got in there, I wasn't a natural kind of salesperson. I remember working for AAPT was my first one, trying to change people to save money on their local calls, etc. And my first door that I knocked on, I said, "Oh, hi, I'm AAPT and I'm from John." So it was a little bit nervous. And they were nearly firing me because I wasn't getting any sales in those first couple of weeks, but stuck at it and eventually got a bit of a knack for sales and was in the sales career until 23. Got into insurance. I had family that was in insurance. My father had an insurance broking company, and within 18 months of just under 2 years of working for my father, I went off. I think I might go and give this a crack myself, and went across the road and started up Elliott Insurance.
Amazing. This is the moment in time which I'm very interested in because there is a lot of people out there who are working for someone
Mm,
and they're not necessarily happy. The environment they are in, the circumstance they are in, they're not really happy about that.
mm,
But they're not really, the risk profile maybe does not allow them or they don't want it to go on their own.
mm.
And they may be looking for another job as an alternative.
Yep.
Or some of them, probably about a third of the population, will have enough risk profile to say, I'll start on my own.
Mm,
What do you think was in you that made you to think that way? Like which attributes of yourself, like now I'm employed
mm.
and I'm going on my own. What was in your head at the time? Can you share something? Do you remember?
Yeah, very much. Uh, Paul, it didn't actually come from a moment of strength. It come from probably the weakest point that I've ever had in my whole entire life. So I wasn't earning what I thought I was capable of and what I told myself I would be. I had all these big dreams, especially coming from the sales world and in insurance. The starting wage is quite low. I'd made some pretty poor choices financially in my life. I'd racked up debt. I'd written off a car. Everything from the playbook of what you could do wrong in your early 20s. So I'd ticked every single box with that. And it wasn't looking good. And I wasn't in a very happy place. It's probably the most depressed that I ever have been in my whole entire life. And it pushed me to a point where one evening I was even on the edge and, really contemplating ending it all, and got pretty damn close. And at that lowest of low point, I realized that I was looking at everything that was happening to me, and it was a point where I kind of took ownership of everything and realized that uh, I was the only one that got me into this mess, and that I was the only one that was going to get myself out. And it was that nothing to lose kind of point. No one could take me lower than I just took myself with all of my series of choices that I had made. So I had absolutely nothing to lose. So why not just bite off more I can chew and chew like fuck? And
Mhm.
it was actually one night. I had a few people around at my house. I was only caught up with a couple of these guys the other day. In fact, one of the guys who was there on that night now works with the company as well. And it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I was 5 sheets to the wind and standing on a coffee table talking about if I had a brokerage, this is how I'd run it. This is how I'd treat the staff. This is what I'd do. And they pushed us. They said, well, why don't you just do it? I said, I'd do it. I'm going to go in there tomorrow morning and I'm going to quit. And I'm going to start up. I'm going to go across the road. I'm going to rent some space. And I'm going to start up. But when I go in there tomorrow and quit, let's all go to lunch, and let's celebrate, what's on the future and who's on board with me. And there was a bunch of yeah. So I walk in the next day and I quit, and I start calling around to the boys that were there, and everyone's a bit busy or hungover, and no one came to lunch, and it was just me at lunch by myself with no job, thinking, oh shit, I think this is going to be a pretty solo kind of journey. And that was at the ripe old age of about 24, 25. So at 25, we kicked the company off and didn't have too much of my name. So I was beg, borrow, cheat, line, steal whatever I could against any kind of additional credit card I could max out or whatever I could. And I managed to scrounge up about 15 grand. And that was enough to register the company, get the website built, get the IT sorted, and kick off picking up the phone. And that's, so it wasn't a very graceful entry into business. It was more so, beaten, broken, scratching together and then just opened the door. From there, it really took off. I suppose that having your back against the wall like that, as much as it wasn't a pretty way to start, I like it. I liked it.
Well, the things that you're sharing is that I didn't have a plan B.
Yeah.
Like the plan B, there wasn't any plan B. Like carrying on the way how I'm carrying on is not gonna get me anywhere. You had some conviction that you can do better. You mentioned that you say, if I would have a company, this is how I would run it. So there has to be some inner conviction that I can do better than whatever that is. And courage. What I'm hearing is the courage to make a choice that, you know what, doesn't really matter what happened before. I'm going on a new journey to get myself out of it. So it's a courage and the decision. And a lot of people struggle with the courage and with the decision. They just can't make it. They overanalyze. Or maybe, in a way, you had it hard, but you had it easy because wherever you were, it wasn't working for you. So you had to change.
And I suppose that touches on one of the things we spoke about last week, where people have a, fear of the unknown, but when that's replaced by, when the scarier prospect is just continuing to maintain what your current direction, as soon as that becomes a scarier prospect than the unknown, then there's no choice but the unknown.
You just have to make a switch, right?
Yeah.
But I often find that previous experiences are leading up and are often used with our new venture. So it's a stepping stone. So whatever you did in your life, it's a stepping stone to the next one. Yes, you mentioned you had some unfortunate events financially, but you also had to develop...
No, I was the unfortunate financial event. I didn't have them, I was them.
You made some poor choices with your finances, but you also spent a few years selling door to door, and that's pretty tough gig.
Yeah.
It takes some resilience to be able to do that.
Yeah. And I suppose as well that kind of builds you the resilience for what you really are going to require as soon as you get into business, because it's also not going to be smooth sailing in there. 2008, the GFC hit pretty shortly after, and I think with insurance, I picked a pretty good industry to be in. It seemed to be, essentially recession-proof.
Everybody needs it.
So it's still the last bill that you stop paying. Or one of the last behind your mortgage, and you've got to make sure that the insurance is in place. When times are tough, it's the last thing you can afford to happen, like something go wrong.
That's correct, yeah.
And it was probably about 2.5 years into the business journey. We had good growth, kind of going through, and I hit the first major roadblock the major hurdle. I had a series of, bookkeepers and people come through from outsourced, and I had bought one that came in-house, and she left all of a sudden, and I had to get a replacement. Got the replacement in within a month, couple of weeks or so with this replacement coming in. She's like, I've got some bad news for you. Your BASs hadn't been lodged for a series of time, and you got several $100,000 worth of tax debt that's in there. And because I was in growth mode, I was pushing everything to the nth degree. So it was literally month to month. And all of a sudden we've got this,
unexpected bills.
Yeah. And it was a decent amount. It was equivalent of about 30% of our annual turnover
That's
in
a lot.
debt.
That's a lot.
So it's a lot. So she left that day, and she came back in the following week. She's only doing a couple of days a week. So she came in the following week, and there's another guy in the back office. She's like, who's that? I was like, that's Tim. She's like, well, what's Tim doing here? I was like, well, I employed Tim after you gave me the news. How much is he getting paid? I'm like, $100,000 a year plus a bit of commission. She's like, I just tell you, we got all this debt, and all of a sudden there's like, it's a new guy getting paid $100,000 or something. What are you doing? What kind of business are you running here? I'm like, I can't sell our way out of this. I need more troops. Like I can resign, or we can just lean into it. And over the next 12 months, we had the highest percentage growth. We've never repeated that kind of percentage growth ever again. And we got ourselves out of that debt within 12 to 18 months.
That's amazing. It's definitely, tax office is definitely not the people you want to owe the money.
No.
Insurance is the last thing that you stop paying. The tax office is actually the first one that you never not
You
pay.
don't want to give them the money, but you don't want to owe them the money.
You have to always, you have to always pay. Now, Tim obviously help you to grow the company, and you have employed since then many different people.
Mm.
And what is your take on people when they aiming to do their best work?
Mm.
You were. I'm sure you've seen the whole gamut of people.
Mm.
We always employ people who are good, or they telling us that they are good, and then we employ them, and we realizing that they're not really doing their best work.
Mm.
Like that bookkeeper, for example, she did the work until she didn't.
Yep.
How do you recognize that people are doing their best work or they are at their best?
It was one of the challenges that I found when I first got into business is being a salesperson. I was always very like commission driven. And so I could deal with a salesperson quite well. I could incentivize a salesperson quite well and I could speak their language. But obviously running a business requires everything from administrative to, people in HR to, to your sales teams as well. So you can't just manage or deal with one
Type
kind
of
of
person.
type of person. And not everyone's financially motivated. So the biggest, I suppose, hack or trick that I ever got was that you're not actually looking to um, uh, try and incentivize people based off a financial motive. You're trying to praise and encourage the effort that people are putting in, because it's actually the effort that you want repeated, not the result. And when you're praising effort, regardless of result, if the results are kind of down, you're going to need more effort than ever before. And across different departments, across different fields, all right, it's the effort that you want replicated. So I find that when I speak to people's effort and talk to that, as opposed to trying to focus on the results are just an outcome that flowing as a result of that.
Yeah, but some people just do the effort, but they still coming short.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a gap in capabilities. We've had people that have come in that have been really nice kind of company people, but just weren't kind of getting the result. In that case, not everyone's going to be suited for absolutely everything. So I think as long as you're, I suppose, leading and dealing with those situations with a little bit of humanistic approach through in there, there's an example that we've got currently where we don't have any graduate positions left in the company now, and so there was one person that we said, "Oh, look, the position is kind of finishing up." But he still worked really hard with us for the next 3 months or so, found the right kind of position, and everyone around in the company is like, oh, this company actually has a little bit of heart. And so there was like a value that kind of spread throughout the company that just because a position's finished, the person isn't. And I think when you lead a company like this, I think it's a company that people feel safe and that they kind of do their best work and they put in their effort like that. That's when it's like, this is as much as a company is not like a family, it is like a sporting team,
Yeah.
where you do need that performance there. Like, I hear people who say, like, a company is like a family. Companies are not like a family. They are like a sporting team. If the performance isn't there, you are going to be dropped. But a sporting club still looks after their own, still makes sure that every single one in that community is kind of taken care of.
And not everybody can kick the goals.
No.
So when you have a sporting team, not everybody is playing all the posts. People need to play together.
Yeah, and it's you've got not just the players in the sporting team, you've got all the coaching staff, you've got all the medical staff. I got a chance to have Harry Taylor, ex-Geelong player, come out and chat to our team the other day. So he's a high performance coach, but he doesn't necessarily work with the players. He works with all the team that support the players
Hmm.
because there's a lot of focus in a sporting club just on the players. But how do you bring all the support staff and all the coaching staff together and have them operating as a high performance team?
That's very clever.
Mm.
That's very clever because if you get your support mechanisms really done well, then you're having a best possible help for the performance of the team. Therefore, the team is delivering better results.
Yeah.
I like it.
Mm.
And that's what he's focusing on at the moment, is he?
Well, he's working with the West Coast Eagles, so he's got a bit of work to do, mate. That was dead last, but
There is a bit of work to
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. He only just started. Give him time.
I am on the journey to help people to do their best work.
Mm.
And I'm asking my guests a question. How do you How do you recognize that somebody is doing their best work or effort, as you call it, and somebody doesn't?
Yeah, I suppose one of the major flaws, and this is why people probably hate middle management, right? Middle management will focus on the nuance of like one particular situation, one example, and they'll jump all over it, as opposed to stepping back and looking at trends, right, and having that time on the balcony instead of down on the dance floor. So I think a good person that steps back, focuses on trends, and sees that has a bit of foresight for the trajectory of where someone's going. I think the people who recognise that in someone can sometimes lead and encourage the best out of people as well. So if you're too granular and focused on a month's result or a week's effort, um, I think you can sometimes stifle what people are doing or what people are capable of. Uh, maybe I kind of focus a little bit too much on what my role is in it, because it's the only thing I can control. Maybe I'm a control freak, but that from my hand in trying to encourage the best out of people, I find it's always stepping back, looking at trends, and focusing on the trajectory of where someone's going. And that might not always be, that's how I can recognize maybe uh, moving someone on because maybe the trajectory is not where we're going to be lined up with where we're going, and see some talent in someone who's maybe not displaying it all completely right now, but you can see where it's headed.
So, what I'm hearing is you give people space, you have a little bit of vision for them where they can move into that space,
Mm.
and you encourage them to move and fill in the space so you can give them more space.
Yeah, and remove a lot of the excuses from around them. Like if someone say, "Oh, I can't do it because of this, this, and this," give them a bit of time. Remove all the excuses. Give them a bit of time, and they'll either hang themselves or shine.
Or progress.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's I suppose it's like when we look at working with Fortix, all right? So, and we've recently, like be 18 months or so into the journey, or coming up 2 years. Um, so a lot of people will talk about the administrative burden of doing the work that we do. And also learning new technology is difficult. So we just added in a whole entire administrative force over in the Philippines, added in all the technology. We ran about half the client load and the workload that people had, removed all of the excuses, and then went,
Bang.
there you go. And when some people saw those excuses be removed and they knew that they no longer had that to lean on, some just left, right? And others who lent into it have excelled. So I think sometimes you just give everything that
That
they're
they
kind of
need.
looking for, and just
Yeah.
let the cards fall.
Yeah.
Some people just like to have something to complain and something to blame.
Absolutely. Would you say that your top performers are like that?
They're top performers that have
Uh,
lent into it.
no, no, the top performers that are whinging about something.
Uh, I think really good salespeople like to do that. I only know that because I'm a really good salesperson.
It's like when I'm looking at someone who is aiming to do their best work,
Mm,
they complain only when the environment around them is not allowing them to do their best work. So they tell you,
mm,
"Hey, I've got this. We need to eliminate that." So could be seen as a whinging, but it also can be seen as an opportunity that we have a gaps that we need to fix.
mm,
But besides that, I don't need middle management to keep micromanaging me because I know what I'm doing
mm.
and I'm really good at what I'm doing. Therefore, I don't need all these extras that we often have in the companies just to motivate non-performers.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, I think the getting the hell out of the way is an essential component of it. To allow people to do what they do.
their best work.
Yeah, yeah. So when I'm like we're giving everything they want, it's just the tools,
Yeah.
in there. So if you're giving them all the tools to do what they want, and you do need to step away and let it run, because that's the only way that you can see the trend, not manage the situation. And you need to step away for a period of time. When we brought in all the new systems, we changed every single operational platform that we have within an 18-month period. We brought in new offshore administrative help. We changed the brand of the company, like a serious amount of change that kind of came in. And I knew that during this period, the worst thing I could do was also try and have sales targets in place.
Hmm.
Um, so I removed all sales targets. We increased the wage of most of the people up to what the commission they could have received is. And I said, look, maybe the company growth will slow down during this transitional period. Um, Something completely unexpected happened. The sales doubled. We went from 18.7 to over 30% growth rate. And that maintained for about for the whole 18 months where we transitioned. And that was completely unexpected, but maybe a result of taking those targets and pressures off, going back to basics, uh, just giving them a new system to learn and just saying, look, just learn a new system. That's the main kind of priority. That drove them to look at the basics in their workflow and going back to those basics and those basic building blocks. That just started to fall into place and they built off that more sales, more administrative, I suppose support just allowed them to speak to people more, and the
Yeah,
sales just kept on coming through.
yeah. I love this. This is like it's a stroke of the genius, right? Because you
Well, no, that was a fluke. Look, I was not expecting the sales to go up. Like
yeah.
my priority was to get in the new systems, so it was an interesting process to go through to see the sales go up like that. Because then I had to. My plan was, when do I turn on the commission? When do I turn everything back on? And then after going through that and seeing that happen, I'm like, do I turn it back on, or does that ever come back on in the same capacity? And that's what I'm going through now, is trying to figure out how much do I turn those incentives back on, or what kind of incentives do I bring back?
Mm. That's a business, isn't it? You do
Yeah.
something and you don't know, something unexpected happens,
Yeah, this whole thing's just a big fucking experiment.
and then
Like-
it's an adventure, isn't
yeah, yeah.
it? Well, I'm really glad that you got yourself onto the business adventure, because look what you've done.
Mm,
You not only fixed your past financial issues, you made multiple more money than you would ever done in being in employment. Were money your motivating factor at the time, apart from getting yourself out of the hole, or and are money still motivating factor, or where do the money fits in?
Yeah, they definitely got a different opinion on it post the camel trek. So obviously the camel trek is a very simple kind of existence. I've eaten roadkill more times than I care to admit. I had very simple sleep on the ground next to a fire kind of life. So when you do that and you're quite happy, I've come back and I've just got a normal kind of nice-ish kind of car, like suburban kind of house, nice backyard. It's not the big lavish kind of life that I had before. Um, One of the commitments that I made to the company when I got back was that we're not going to make the company's not going to make a profit for the next 3 to 4 years. We're just going to push everything into the company and see where it goes.
Hmm.
So I'm definitely in for the sport or the game of it, much more than I ever have been before.
Yeah,
But those first 10 years, money was a big motivator, or the things, thinking that an excess of money was what I was looking for. Um, but then ended up with making so many compromises and sacrifices in my life in the pursuit of money that I realized I was never after the money. I was after the excess of choice. And I think sometimes we confuse the two of those things: an excess of money and an excess of choice. We chase the excess of money thinking that it's about the choices that will bring, but then we sacrifice so much of ourselves that we forget to ever actually exercise the choice. So that camel trek was just a big
yeah,
exercising of the most extreme choice I could, to go, what's the point in putting myself in this position if I don't occasionally choose the alternative?
that's right. When I speak to people and ask them, what do you need or what do you want? You know what they tell me? I need more money.
Hmm. Oh, there's plenty of lotto winners that are bankrupt within 3 years.
That's right.
That
And then I'm thinking, well, what's stopping you? If that's what you want, if you need to get more money, then go and get more money.
Mm,
And then the probably excuses start.
mm,
Or maybe it's their own conviction that maybe they're not as good as they really think they are.
yeah.
Money is a reflection of how good you are. Wouldn't you? Would you agree with that?
No, I think it's
It's an outcome.
yeah. It's depending on what game you're playing, I suppose. Um, I mean, I met happy and sad people in various kind of walks of life out on the camel trek. From farm hands to the guy that owns the station, I wouldn't say see any variance in the level of happiness or sense of achievement. You got happy and sad people at all walks there. I kind of come back here as well. I can find a employee on 70 grand a year that's happy as a pig in shit and just loving life and just loves his family and you know has all the freedom and flexibility. Doesn't really matter. And I got people that are worth a couple of $1,000,000 that don't seem to be that enjoying their life that much.
They need 10 times more.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm not really sure where, to be honest, I'm not really sure where money fits in to it because I can't see an exact correlation between it's one measurement, yeah, and I think they say I'm not sure what the number is. Don't quote me on it, but I'm sure people will be able to Google it. But there is a certain point where you kind of get, where the wolves are at bay. Your bills are paid, your lifestyle, your moderate kind of lifestyle is
Taken care
okay.
of.
You're like
Yeah.
you're not worried about the next month, and there's only a small percentage more than that before there's no improvement or no difference to your kind of happiness. So I think, we get enough to provide, we get enough to look after ourselves, to take care of a couple of those around us. And after that point, I think that's where we're starting to deal with that. Are we chasing the money or are we chasing the choice? And I think that's the point where people get to decide. You work your ass off to kind of get your head above water. Once your head's above water, you need to start looking at your choices versus the money.
That's right. Because a lot of people, as much as they're increasing their income, they also increasing their spending. So they're on a constant uh, roll.
Yeah,
Like, I'll buy a bigger car, I buy a bigger house, I spend more money, I spend this, and it's kind of never enough.
yeah. That
So
fine line between
yeah, yeah,
choices and money.
yeah. Yeah, and then as you're saying, do
That keeps you
you
at the table like a bad gambler, Paul. Just keep it on.
do you really need it?
Mm,
Or you go backwards a little bit. Why I'm saying that is because a lot of people are slaves to the money that they earning in a spots that they're not happy with.
mm,
So they are at the companies, they slave corporate captives,
mm,
but they addicted to the money bit.
mm.
They addicted. Maybe they need it. Everybody needs it. Everybody needs to live. So it's a kind of difficult one.
Well, I've got 6 camels there, one owner, low miles. If anyone's not sure about where they should be, I can do a quick 4-week training course, and then after a lap of Australia, you might have a bit more perspective.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I know that you helped a lot of people as well to start their own business. I remember that you were telling me that you had a guy who you helped him to get on a journey because he had the potential, he wanted to do it, and you helped him out.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, there's been a few that we've done in that startup space, whether they've been a franchise of Elliott.
Hmm.
So we're very lucky in our industry. It's quite easy to establish what they call an authorized representative.
Yeah.
So I think we would have launched about 4 of these now. Um, Generally, just people that come in that show the right kind of fire in the belly, and we had for a while before they left on the camel trip, we had a bit of almost like an incubator. Sometimes people would come in as a bit of an employee, and then after a period of time, we would launch them off. The person that I referenced before, Tim,
Hmm.
he came in on one of those deals. Um, and I said to him basically, you help me grow this company over a couple of years, and then I'll help you grow yours moving forward. That deal went for around about 11 years, I think, before he sold out for a multi-million-dollar sum, and is now the director of a large kind of brokerage over in North Perth, Grange. And We have a very great relationship after that 11-year kind of journey. But yeah, it was kind of good to put down a couple of figures on an Excel spreadsheet, when I'm 27, and then see him all those years later that outperform where I thought that would go.
That's amazing. It must be rewarding to you as well to see this kind of progress.
Yeah, I remember when I would have been in, I think, the Gibson Desert, and I get a phone call on the sat phone from Tim,
Yeah.
and I'm halfway through my camel trek, and he goes, "I just wanted to let you know I've just capped over $1 million in income. So my business is now worth whatever it's worth. But that point that you promised me that I'd hit in 10 years, I've hit it in 8. So and
He
he's felt the need to
outperformed.
call me. He's like, I don't care where John is. We'll call him and just let him know we're 2 years ahead of schedule.
Oh, that's stunning. That's so good. That's so good. Yeah, the work is changing. So when you look at Fortix,
Mm,
Fortix helps you. You've decided that you want to have Fortix in your business. What has changed since you put Fortix in? How do you see what is the biggest benefits that you put this thing in in
yeah.
in, in your business?
Look, when you have 5 years away from your business, and then you come back, you can see how much has changed. It's like a before and after picture. The company I left versus the one that I kind of came back with was completely different. And not only that, when I looked at the landscape and what was coming ahead, I got back in November 2022, and I think it was December 2022 that OpenAI came up with ChatGPT. So I could see this wave coming through, and then I'm looking at my company going like, my house is not in order. My data's not in shape. So for me, the value of bringing in Fortix was it just motivated us to get our house in order, to get our workflows and our processes in order, to get our data in order. Because in order to utilize the value of any system that has the potential for automations, workflow automations, or anything like this, you've really got to have all your data in order. Everyone has to be operating in a similar kind of fashion in order to be able to automate one process that is beneficial to the whole company.
Hmm.
So that was, I think I called you, would have been the beginning of 2023.
Yeah.
And by the beginning of 2024, we were starting the process of, or we started to implement Fortix. So for me, I think the biggest benefit is yet to come. All right. So the 3-year journey of getting my house in order is more so for what's to come as opposed to the benefits right now. The fact that I'm getting some benefits right now and bringing that in as well, I think it's the practicing for the big game,
Hmm.
really,
Making business a bit more scalable.
100%. And I think the Fortix brings the foundations to a lot of how we operate in order to be able to ensure that when we do apply some scale to it, that the house doesn't come crumbling down.
Hmm. Well, a good thing is that during this period consolidation, you also had a significant growth,
Yeah.
and you were able to handle it without too much of the problems.
Oh, that helps pay all my technology bills now. Yeah,
All your
between
AI.
technology and tax. So, but I mean, I think that's one of the things that people don't, they don't realize some of the cost to implement some of this stuff. It's not because it's not one provider. Uh, you know, there's generally once you've got access to all these multiple systems and multiple capabilities, then the temptation is to go down this path, and it's another user subscription and this and that. Um, but when I kind of look back and realize that in total, maybe I'm spending the equivalent of what would be 2 or 3 employees. Am I getting 2 or 3 employees worth of value out of that? And then when I'm looking at everything that's happening in the background, yeah, you're probably getting like 5 or 6 employees for the value of 2 or 3,
Yeah,
and that I think the benefit exponentially kind of grows
as you
from
grow
there.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because I can add my growth is now not dependent on more bums on seats. And I think if your growth is continually dependent on bums on seats, then the profitability is not increasing when you scale. So you have to have efficiency in your systems and your workflows and your procedures in order to be able to eventually build some profit back into this company.
Absolutely. But it also makes the business run a little bit easier and smoother because you know how it runs.
Yeah.
When you bring the new people and it's backed by technology, then they're just basically doing the work that people should be doing. So it's from now on, it's really a partnership between the people and the technology.
And it helps build a relationship between the company and the customer,
Yeah.
as opposed to just having a bunch of individual relationships with the customer. So people get used to the way the company operates and what to expect from the company because they're getting more of a consistent output, consistent communication style, and consistent offering. Um, so where it was run by a bit of feel before, now it's run by, we contact every customer at this point. This is what we do. This is when we check. The system will alert us if this happens. So it's just that little reminder that keeps that customer journey on track.
So you can design your customer experience.
Yeah.
And then systems helps you to deliver that customer experience consistently across the board.
That's the theory.
Yeah. But the AI is big. Right now, we're getting a lot of calls from different AI providers who want to plug into Fortix. And one business case that is often used is in the client acquisition space.
Yes.
Cold calling, if you like, without being a telephone, or a cold outreach.
Yes.
Where AI can scan the internet for different data points, different social networks, different things, picks up certain things, and then they say, hey, this is potential client for you, and helps you to draft the cold outreach email that is highly, highly personalized.
Yeah.
It speaks your voice of your company and sends it at the right moment to the right person.
I get some of these now, and I think it's pretty incredible some of how specific some of these are. So the big thing that first shocked me when I first got my first AI sales agent email, spoke to me about the exact amount of kilometers that I'd walked on my camel trek. It spoke to me about since returning on this date. It spoke to me about changing this, that I've recently changed all of the systems within my company and now I must be ready for this phase. So it was pitching the right product at the right time and adding the personalized message in. I'm like, you would have had to scrape several different articles, different social sites, and a couple of websites in order to craft this 3-paragraph email. It's insane.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you responded to that?
No. The funny thing is, as soon as you see the long dash, whenever AI or ChatGPT gives you a response, a lot of the time we'll put a long dash in the email or too many emojis. So I see a long dash in an email or too many emojis, and I'm like, that's not a human.
That's not a human.
Yeah.
I wonder, with the enhancements in AI, how long it will take where we wouldn't be able to tell. I think it's coming.
You're assuming that we will be involved in the transaction. So I got to check out a AI sales agent making a call to a customer to make a booking at a hotel. So it was an AI travel agent, and then very shortly, it identifies itself. Hi, I'm an AI travel agent looking to make a booking. Blah blah blah. And then the person at the hotel that answers the phone goes, "Oh, I'm actually an AI." Booking agent.
System, yeah.
Yeah. No troubles at all. Well, how about we switch to a more efficient communication system, or method? Yeah, no problem at all. And it was, I'm like, I'm just watching the beginnings of Terminator 2. like, we're not even involved. I don't even know if a booking was made. What the fuck's going on? Did Skynet just take over during a hotel booking? Here I am. We are trying to use it to sell insurance.
It's scary, isn't it? Well, I got the tickets for the flight in America that I never booked. now it's in my calendar. So.
You're halfway through the holiday and you're like, I have no idea what the fuck is happening.
I wonder who is flying that flight, but I literally got the flight details. That is not mine. Into my inbox, and I put it into my calendar. So I'm going
Yeah.
to Chicago next week.
But if all goes to hell, Paul, we can just grab the camels and head back out.
I think that's where it is heading. We don't know really. We don't know how it's going to look like in the next few years.
Yeah.
We don't know, is it? It's
That's a part of the excitement.
yeah, which everybody tries to work out. Where do the people fit in this fully automated AI world?
Oh,
Where
but what a cool time to be alive, man! Like
absolutely,
to learn with books, and then to go to computer classes at school, like, and then back in the days where you're just starting to pick between, was it Mr. Magoo and Yahoo and Google? I was a bit of a Yahoo guy myself. I backed the wrong horse on that one. And then we get into our work life, and would it be 15 years, 20 years into our work life, AI starts to come in. We see another iteration, and we've got to keep up with that one as well. But we get a good chunk of like three massive different ways
we
of
did.
learning, doing business, educating ourselves, and having a career. I mean, I think we'll be the only generation that gets to witness all three of those, and not just like witness it, like be involved with it in our education, our careers. I mean, that's pretty cool.
And reading the newspaper,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
nobody's reading newspaper anymore.
The what?
Newspaper.
The what?
My neighbor does. He's still getting this roll in front of his lawn.
Yeah, you got to light the fire somehow, mate.
That's so good.
So yeah, I think a part of it is
Go with the flow.
what have got another 10, 15, 20 years in our career, depending on how long we kind of want to keep the thing going. I'm not really sure when I'll step off the train. I'll probably be I could go either way. I could be out at 50, or I could be still there at 80. I'm not really sure yet, but we'll figure that out later on down the track. But I think even going through to 50, I'm 43 now. Even going through 50, I'm like, I have no idea how it will end in 7 years. Like,
It's changing so fast.
it's so quick.
It's so quick. Even it's changing so quick that our engineers are saying, hold your horses, because whatever horse we will go on, it will probably change in the next 6 months, 12 months.
I saw this great episode of South Park, all right, that they recently did. And remember we were telling the kids you got to be a coder, all right? Any of the kids that we told to be coders, they're stuff now. And it's gone through, and the big joke was all the professional services were standing next to Walmart. Now it adds up, like, I'm a lawyer. There was one guy with I'm an insurance broker, all right, and the Mexican tradesman was coming back, and he's looking for a professional service. And they're like, please, I'll do your insurance broking, whatever. He's like, no, I've got all that. Any of you guys know a trade? Can someone actually build something? You're useless. And he kept on driving. So now you want to be telling your kids, get into a trade. The one thing AI, won't take over.
Be a plumber.
Yeah, be a qualified sparky. The one thing AI is going to need is a lot of electricity. Get into that.
Yeah, we went through the period where nobody really wanted to be a tradesman. Everybody wanted to be a professional services, office job, right?
Yeah.
Go to uni, learn something. I think that a lot of jobs will be disrupted. I think, I like accountants, but I don't like them that much. But I mean, the AI can do all the counting there is in the world.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's in one way, I kind of like, I think, will it ever kind of be replaced? Like a person to person, even in professional services. I've still got faith, especially with some of the higher technical kind of stuff, and plus the element of sometimes people like to lean over the table and shake someone's hand and get the deal done. So will it take out a lot of the lower end transactional kind of level of it to some degree? But I always like to think of it more like Iron Man. All right, so it's not necessarily that the Iron Man suit takes everything over. There's still a human inside driving it. It's just the people that can handle and command and deal with the AI and this better. integrate with it a lot better. They're the ones that will far exceed the ones that, in denial or just don't become very capable at utilizing AI.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you think about it like a human-driven technology, I think that's the people that will wield the stick more effectively, or the companies that will wield the stick more effectively. So it's the access to it, how you handle it, and how you utilize it. They'll be the first in the exponential kind of growth, I think.
Mm. And that's our view. So the way how we see the whole world in digital is that every company has to have its own private data.
Mm,
The thing that you mentioned was that we're gonna clean up the data, get our house in order.
mm.
These data belong to the company. They're private. They are what makes you different, right?
Yep.
List of your customers, list of jobs, whatever it is. Now, people will come into that environment, and people will be supported by AI
Mm.
on a personalized level per their role. So I know what kind of AI I need around me to be able to do phenomenally good job for you.
Yep.
So, but I need to plug in my AI tools into the company system, keep the data private and everything. Otherwise, your company data will be exposed. And we see a lot of problems right now because people are using AI systems that are somewhere in the world,
Yes.
and the data are escaping the companies and they're going somewhere.
Yes.
Now, I think this is coming to an end. This practice won't be usable because last thing is you want to find your customer database somewhere on the
No, you got to
internet
have data
that
sovereignty. That's
all
the
your
ultimate.
competitors are talking to, right?
Yeah.
So it's a big problem. So what we're doing is we're engineering the mechanics around the system that, hey, John, here is the Fortix. It's your private system. Your data are private. You own them. It's in your system. Your business processes are around it. And now we give you the tool that you can plug in different AIs to feed your data or to
Yeah.
use your data privately in that environment. So that's what we're focusing on. That's
Yeah.
what we're focusing on that privacy that companies need to operate really successfully.
Yeah.
That's where we are. So there is a temptation, and people tell me I use this AI tool, that AI tool. The AI tool that reads your inbox and all the data.
Mm.
I said, do you know where this AI is actually based? Do you know where your data is going? There are tools who literally give it to you for free or low cost, but they extracting all your data and they selling it on the other side.
Mm.
That's how they make money.
Yes.
But you're thinking, oh, look, what a good deal I got. Like it cost me next to nothing, and it does all this for me.
Are you saying that big tech companies will give you something for free just to farm your data? I don't believe that. I believe that Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, I think they're just providing a public service because they're good at their heart. I think
Because they love you.
they're basically humanitarian organisations. It's the good work that they do.
Very good work. Yeah, no, it's exactly like that. And then everybody's pushing prices down, but there is a cost to perform
Yeah.
to the AI. And now people are talking about the electricity that it costs to produce
Mm.
the power that is needed by AI chips and then deliver that power. Many people saying that it's covered at the moment by the VCs, and the prices that we see are not true reality of the cost. And somewhere I saw the graph. Typical investment into the technology used to have like a big investment and then come down.
Yeah.
With the AI, it's gradually going up because AI can consume more data points, more services, more everything, and the cost to the company will be going up. Hopefully, it will going up much lower scale than if you would be doing any alternatives.
Mm.
But the idea of us from now on paying less for technology is not true. It's actually going to be up.
And even from when you look at the data sovereignty that you brought up, just it's not just getting a house in order for the data. It's now all of a sudden when we're starting to bring everything into one source of truth. One of the first things I brought up with you is like I can foresee data becoming a big expense or something down the track if I'm starting to track all the text messages, all the emails, or everything coming through into this one source of truth, and maybe even starting to get phone transcripts of phone
Conversations.
notes and meetings and VCs
Yeah.
and this, and putting them all against the client card. And it's great that I can plug AI into that to give summaries and help provide better service. But I've gone from one human selecting one document to say that that's relevant, so I will put that on the file, to everything is relevant and everything goes on file. right? So we're probably looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 times what data is going to be stored for every single client each year. So that's a massive amount of
Mm.
data coming in. Now, that also, that's just a reality, I think, of what will happen. But then it's like, oh, well, now we have to derive value from that data. And that's the same kind of thing you were saying before. Like, if the company's going to bring this on and going to start storing it, how do we derive value from that data?
Mm.
Um, Ultimately, I believe that by providing a better customer service, and more attentive and knowing and understanding the client more, that will just drive more value into each client. But mind you, this is probably what the guys at Facebook and Meta were saying when they first started off as well. Probably started off idealistic. I don't think I'm going to become a big tech mongol, but in my little patch, it's probably starting the same kind of patch. No, 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 it's all for good. And then you're like, holy shit, this is costing a lot.
How do
More
we
money into the pipeline.
how do we wind it down?
Yeah. No, but
You can always hit the delete button.
yeah,
That will be very scary.
yeah,
Well, I don't know. I think the opportunity lies in the consolidation of the market.
mm,
So you investing into technology, you're making this more scalable. You get the client's acquisition on your own strength, but then you meet someone who hasn't made that investment.
yep.
That's your opportunity.
And I think the big thing that I find funny is the wait and sees. Like you got the early adopters run through and just get stuck into it and roll the sleeves up, and then you've got the wait and see kind of people. Now they're not even getting their data ready. They're doing nothing, and they're just assuming that one day I'll switch on ChatGPT and
It will start working
and
for me.
off we go. And you're like I understood it was going to be a 3-year journey before I even
Yeah.
considered turning on any kind of tap. So I think uh, the the illusion that people are under that one day they can just engage with this, and they're not already doing it now. It just shows how far behind the 8 ball they are. Like I think I'm not sure if I said to you last week, but people were thinking that I'm catching this technology or this AI kind of wave, and I'm like, no, I'm still on the beach waxing my surfboard, going, "Fuck, those waves are huge." All right,
Hmm.
but other people are at home thinking, "I wonder if I should pick up surfing again."
Hmm.
Then they haven't even left the house.
That's true. That's true. I wonder how it will reflect itself in the value of the market. Or probably, I would say, potentially, you will win the customer over. Sooner or later, you will win the customer. With that consistency in customer service, that kind of interactions with them, the ease of experience, because we're having now very sophisticated buyers. Buyers expect easy to deal with,
Mm,
right? If you don't have this technological backing, everything become manual, hard work, filling in the forms, putting the figures into the forms every year, the same stuff. If you send me the information that is pre-filled and it's easy for me to check, you put a couple of data points, you make it easy for me.
mm.
Um, Sooner or later, customers will vote and they will go to the companies who make it easy for them to do business with.
And they'll go to the companies that are where they are going for the answers.
Yeah,
So, if people are still just playing the SEO game where they're looking at, insurance, Perth,
yeah.
trade insurance, Perth, and trying to respond to that with SEO tactics on their website, um, that's going to slowly kind of drop off. Even Google's coming up with their generative, AI summary as well. But people will ask questions now in Google. They're starting to branch across with the style of question that they would ask in ChatGPT or Grok or any of these
Hmm.
others. And the way that someone asks a question or the information they put in when they're trying to get into answers on something like insurance is completely different. It's I'm an electrical contractor. What type of insurance should I have? Or someone has just given me this contract. Here's the contract. What insurance do I need? So if you're not the one who, through on your website or in your blogs or what you're putting out there, answering the questions in the style that they're actually asking them, uh, again, you're going to be falling behind the 8 ball because they're going to look at where the answers are coming from in the AI. And there's a term for it. They call it GEO now, generative engine
Hmm.
optimization. And if you're answering the questions in that style and you're becoming the authoritative voice in AI,
Yeah,
to those questions, and then they're clicking straight through to you.
that's right. Because the financial model follows, right? The
Yes.
leads follows. Everything
Yeah.
follows into it.
Yeah. So you go to where your clients are and you answer the questions in the style that they're asking them.
Mm. So how do you do that? How do you train your engine?
I'm still in the experimental phase, but we're just doing a big relaunch of all of our websites to try and
to
rewrite all
to
the content in that.
to follow the trend.
Correct. And we've been writing the content now for 6 months and we haven't even launched yet.
Hmm. It's a
It's
big job.
again, it's one of those things where people go, "Oh well, I'll relaunch my website with GEO flavor to it." And it's like, well, good luck. You're on a 6 to 12 month journey to get that done, unless you've got a whole team of people doing it.
That's right. So it's a complete rewrite,
Yeah,
effectively.
yeah,
Starting scratch. Stop playing this game. We're playing this game now.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's again the common misconception is that AI will fix all these. But if you're using AI to generate content, AI is probably not going to source that content when it's providing its own answer. So you're still looking for good, solid, original content. So if my competitors are out there just pumping out, pages of shit from AI,
Yeah.
AI is going to look for that true, valued, solid authorship, original content still. So yeah, the humans are still in the game, Paul.
I
We're
think
still
so.
in there.
I
I'm
agree.
cracking up with me 4-finger typing. That's why it's taken 6 months. I'm just sitting there, 2 fingers at a time.
I'm busy writing my own book.
Yeah,
You get a copy.
excellent.
You will be mentioned in there.
I've heard. I heard I make a bit of an appearance in there.
You are making an appearance. I'm very grateful that you took some time off and shared some experiences that we had over the years.
Yeah.
It's very nice of you, and also for your time today. I think that it's a very interesting topic because everybody's talking about the AI right now. The first bubble will probably burst sometimes. I don't know when. There is a lot of sharks out there, like everything, like a gold rush. Everybody's doing something with AI. Half of the people don't know what they're doing with it, but they're still doing it. But then it will come down, consolidate, and it will have a solid growth of the AI. So I think that you are still early in your game, and I always enjoy to see your innovation and the way how you're approaching your business. We have many clients, and everybody has some kind of different perspective on the business and advantage and everything. And you are one of those adventurers who is not afraid to try new technologies, to go on and to make a call and say, okay, we're playing this game now, and do the hard work and back themselves up and just go and make it happen. So,
Well, I think it was funny, Paul, because when I first finished the camel trek, got back into my company, and I'd only been in the door for 7 days or so, and I start bringing people into my office, going, "Have you heard about AI?" And running one-on-one sessions where give me a question that a client would answer, and it had only been going for 30 days or so. So I think these people will see me come out of the desert and thought I'd lost my mind. They're like, this guy's fucking lost it. He's talking to his computer. He's in the back corner talking to his computer again. They're like, don't worry. He'll walk off again. He's probably not going to be here for long. And now we look at like how far we've got to come where people are really down the pathway. But I took every single one of my employees, every single one of the team on the ride from day dot. And I think that's the biggest thing you can kind of encourage. Just encourage participation, get people kind of comfortable, get people familiar with it. Again, don't wait till last minute. Like you got to start introducing people to these new systems like immediately. Even if you're providing it as a free resource, pay for the highest
subscriptions.
level of ChatGPT or whatever it is, and give them the most capable system you possibly can, and just let them play.
Let them play. Let them play.
They'll come to you with the ideas.
Absolutely, they will. And I really love your leadership. And every time I walk into your office, people are solid. Everybody's sort of having a good time, good laughs, and that's part of the culture that you are building. So yes, we live in a very technology-driven world. You live in a very space that is, let's call it the boring insurance. Who would be excited about the insurance?
Well, it's boring now because we're just sitting around drinking coffees, having beers. The AI is just doing all the work now, Paul. Booking holidays. We're out, mate.
You may as well turn off the speaker, right? When the AI will be start chatting between each other, you just turn off the speaker. You don't need to hear all.
Mate, we've just got social media accounts now so that we can pretend like we still work. Offer shots.
You get the email, and then AI sold your business, and then for the price you want it, because it will know exactly what you want. That would be nice. Well, this is exciting times, and I think from time to time we catch up and we'll see how we're going on the AI journey, and explore some of the opportunities, which is maybe final thought. What I'm building with Fortix, I'm building the community of people who understand technology. So it's very difficult to get top talent into individual companies, especially for people who are very specializing in a particular space. So what I would like to do is I like to build the network and the community of people who are really, really good at part of whatever that part is.
Yeah.
And then make that part available through Fortix system for you. So you can plug it in, give it a go, gives you the resource, gives you the value, you keep it there. If it doesn't, then you find another one. So it's kind of closed open system. It's closed because it's yours. And not what I'm finding, people have difficulty because it took me 20 years to actually put together the information system that can be private and secured and belong to the company. That's not something that you can just get off the shelf.
Yeah.
All the other systems that are out there are subscription-based systems, somewhere in the Microsoft servers or AWS servers or someone who else building them. But your system is yours. It can belong to you. It can be wherever you want it to
Yeah.
be. Your data is yours. So then the value proposition I'm building, here is your private system for your company. Here is the community of the top performers or the people who are exceptionally good what they do. They have their own AIs around them, and they're producing the digital service that you can simply take and plug it into your environment and use it and get the benefit out of it. So that's the journey that I'm on. I'm at the beginning of building that global community, and I'm talking global community. I'm talking the talent around the world.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the difference. So when you first told me about or pitched for Fortix to us 12 years ago or so, I was hell bent on having my own internal resources, have my own developers in house, and I wanted to build everything myself. There is nothing that exists from that investment back in those days. Like I have no software, I no infrastructure. I built no value. I built immediate customers, immediate kind of return, but nothing that lasted in the business. Not one system,
Yeah.
not one software, not one bit of software. And since engaging with Fortix, it wasn't necessarily, resigning the fact that I didn't want to do that. It was wanting to access the absolute best that I could for very niche capabilities. So I saw Fortix as my avenue to be able to not use Fortix to solve everything, but to be able to access, the individual systems to have the capability to solve very niche problems there's no way I could employ the technical capacity
No, you
in
can't.
order to solve
Yeah.
those. But
It's
I
cost
can take a
prohibitive.
little bit of what someone else has already solved.
And that's the idea. That's the idea here. It took me 2 decades.
We're not quick learners, Paul.
No.
Took me 12 years to buy from you.
At least you did. I remember what you said is like, I've got no software, I'm ready to buy. Because the last time you told me is like, I'm going to build my own.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, you said to me,
You're like, hey, what do you think? See you in 5?
That's good. You are my longest sales cycle. So
Yeah.
people tell me it takes too long to sell. I said, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It took me like 10 years to get John. And then, do you remember even when you called me and you said that, Paul, I'm ready to buy. I didn't let you to buy. I wanted you to know that you want to buy. Did you remember that? I took you a little bit on a journey. I
think we were playing with each other during that last, during that sales pitch because I remember telling you at the front of the Steadfast, I'm like, I can't wait till Fortix is plugged in and all my problems are immediately solved.
Yes, you did.
I kept on trying to talk you down in price, even though I didn't really care. I was like playing coach on it, and you're like, John, I'm not sure if you're aware how long this is going. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I've got a 3-year journey plan. I'm like, yeah, 6 months, and like max. But
that was good. Yeah, that was good. Well, I'm glad that you are my client and my friend.
Yes.
Friendship is more important than the client. Client
Yes.
is important because that is a exchange of value, and I see me and my organization, the whole Fortix team and Fortix community to help you to succeed in this game. So thank you for your trust and everything that you
Thank you.
doing with us.
Thank you too, my friend.
and to the next adventures, I suppose.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank
Well,
you, John. Cheers.
cheers.